So let's take a look at what's happening here. In my little bowl here, in my mixer, I've got 3 cups and 3/4 of a cup. So 3 3/4 cup of flour, all-purpose flour. Today we're making croissants because I haven't done it in about 20 years. This is yeast. Now I was supposed to use the fresh yeast, but I couldn't find it, so I'm using active dry. So that's about 1 ounce of yeast. And I'm going to throw in 3/4 of a cup of sugar. And now, with it on the slowest setting, oh boy, I can't even see in there anymore, can I? With the lowest setting, I'm going to start adding my milk. I took it off the stand so that I can get a better look at what's going on inside that bowl. And, you know, if it doesn't come together soon, I might add a little bit more liquid to bring it together. You know, sometimes, even though we use exact measurements, sometimes this is not exact, you know, so I might have to add a little bit more milk to this. So that's 1 cup of milk, 1 ounce of yeast, 3 3/4 cups of flour, and we've got 1/3 of a cup of sugar. And that's going to make the lovely dough. All right, you see it's starting to ball up here. And that is, I did add a little bit more milk to it. Maybe, I don't know, a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons. I might even add a little bit more milk, because that still is a pretty hard dough, but you see how it's all balled up? Now what we're going to do is go at a faster speed to get that nice and smooth. So this is the dough that just came out of the mixer. I kneaded it a little bit on the table here. You see how it's soft. I'm going to let it sit here for about 30 minutes to relax, and then I'm going to stick it in the fridge for about, well, overnight, 8 hours, but overnight. And then tomorrow is when we incorporate the butter and start making the puff pastry. But this is the yeasted dough. It's flour, sugar, yeast, and milk. Alrighty, so I've got my 4 sticks of butter cut into thirds like this. So that's going to build me a 10 by 8 rectangle, right? So if I roll out my dough 10 inches wide by 16 inches long, I'll be able to fold it over the butter and then start working my folding magic. All right, so here is the dough. I just took it out of the fridge. I started to roll it out, and you see it's about 10 inches wide, and I'm gonna make it about 16 inches or 17 inches long. This way I could fold it over on itself with the butter inside. Okay, so I've got it rolled out. I'm gonna put the butter on now and fold it over. All right, so you see how the butter is laid out? I'm gonna now fold over the dough and then start my turns. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to take that, fold it over, and I'm going to seal it. And now I've got a pocket of butter. And now I'm going to just try to very gently press it all together. And now I'm going to start folding my turns. So this doesn't count as a turn yet. The first turn I do, I'm going to fold it a tri-fold, boom, boom, and then roll it out. Okay, so you see I just turned the dough, turned it the other way, sprinkled a little flour. I'm going to now try to roll it a bit without breaking it. And then I'm going to fold it. Alrighty, so I chilled the dough for about an hour, And now I'm doing the next turn. So right now I'm just trying to flatten it out so that I can actually start rolling it. And I may have made a mistake with the butter here, but I think it's all going to work out in the end anyhow. And the mistake that I made was not breaking the butter up to make it even. So it looks like there might not be some uniform butter in this, but it's all going to work out in the end, I think. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to now fold it and roll it again. And after this turn, I'm going to do the what they call the super turn. Yeah, I may have ruined these croissants. This might not happen. It's going to be tasty bread, but they're not going to be croissants. I haven't done this in 20 years, and it's quite possible that I messed up the whole butter port. All right, so I've rolled it out into this large rectangle. And now I'm going to do the super fold, which is basically this way, and then that way. That's like two folds in one. And into the fridge, listen to me, into the fridge it goes. Okay, so the croissant dough chilled in the fridge for about an hour. I'm just going to sprinkle my countertop a little bit with some flour. And here it is after the turns. And now what I'm going to do is roll it out a little bit, cut it in half, because I'm only going to work with half of it at a time. So that's it. I'm just going to roll it out a little bit, oops, so I can cut it in half, and then I'm going to work with half at a time. Okay. Cut that in half, and I'm going to put half in the fridge and work with the other half. Okay, so I'm rolling it out, and I'm going to get it pretty thin, probably about 1/8 of an inch. It's going to take quite a bit of rolling, and then we're going to start forming our croissants. All right, so we will find out very soon if this is going to be any good or not. So far it looks correct. Well, we'll see if they rise correctly and taste good. Then we're good. I'm just taking some scrap from, oh gee, and I'm blocking the camera, aren't I? I'm blocking the camera view. That's okay. That's because I can't see what I'm doing. Tuck it inside the end of the triangle, and then I'm just going to roll it. And my arm is in the way. Jesus Christ. Okay, how am I going to do this without having my arm in the way of the camera? Just roll it into little crescents, just like that. Well, actually, that's not the crescent, right? That's the rolled. This is probably not smart to put on video. Okay, so what I've got here is some almond paste that we made from, almonds and butter and confectioner's sugar. And I've got a piece that's about, the shape of a football. I'm going to put it in the back of the croissant, and then I'm going to roll it out onto that. So these are going to be almond croissants. Alrighty, so it's been about 3.5 hours, and I put them in a warm place. You see, they didn't triple in size, but they did get a lot puffier. You remember how spaced apart they were? Now they're almost touching each other, and I just turned the oven on 350 degrees, and I'm going to bake them. So this pan has the almond croissants. This pan has 2 almond and the rest plain. And this pan has all plain. I'm probably going to bake the plain ones first because those are the ones I assembled first. And we'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to do this batch first because there are 2 almond croissants and 3 plain ones. And my wife has been dying all day waiting for this almond croissant. So here we go. Oven's at 350. It just registered that it is up to temperature, and I just popped them in. And they're going to be in there for about 12 minutes. So it's 4 o'clock. At 4:12, those puppies are coming out. Okay, so it's 4:18. I popped them in at 4 o'clock. At 4:12, so 12 minutes in, I turned them around. Okay, so now you see they are pretty golden. I'm going to give it another little bit. Then I'm going to take them out. I think they're just about done. Or maybe they look done. I'm going to take them out now. So here we go. Yeah, they look beautiful. Okay, now we don't eat them right away. We cool them off. But I'm going to position the racks now. I'm going to do both pans together now, and I'm going to alternate them. Okay, so now I'm going to pop in 2 racks, both pans. So you see I have repositioned the racks. I'm going to put the plain ones on the bottom, and I'm going to put the almond ones on top. And in 12 minutes, so it's currently 4:20. Oh, that's funny, it's 4:20. Anyhow, in 12 minutes, I'm going to then rotate them and change positions on them, change the levels. Okay, so you see they're on the rack, and I'm just letting them cool. I guess I'll give them about, 10-15 minutes, and then I'm going to bring one down to my lovely wife, who's been waiting so patiently for these. So again, these 3 on the left are plain, and the 2 on the right are the almond. Oh my God, I took a bite out of this, and it is, it's fucking amazing. I mean, look at the layers, and the flavor is just incredible. I'm gonna take another bite. Oh my God, oh, it's so good.